What is ethnomusicology? Definition, history, and methods. Ethnomusicology is the study of music within the context of its larger culture, though there are various definitions for the field. Some define it as the study of why and how humans make music. Others describe it as the anthropology of music. If anthropology is the study of human behavior, ethnomusicology is the study of the music humans make. Research questions. Ethnomusicologists study a wide range of topics and musical practices throughout the world. It is sometimes described as the study of non-Western music or world music as opposed to musicology, which studies Western European classical music. However, the field is defined more by its research methods, i.e., ethnography, or immersive fieldwork within a given culture and its topics. Thus, ethnomusicologists can study anything from folkloric music to mass-mediated popular music to musical practices associated with elite classes. Common research questions ethnomusicologists ask are: how does music reflect the wider culture in which it was created? How is music utilized for different purposes, whether social, political, religious, or to represent a nation or group of people? What roles do musicians play within a given society? How does musical performance intersect with or represent various axes of identity, such as race, class, gender, and sexuality? History. The field, as it is currently named, emerged in the 1950s, but ethnomusicology originated as comparative musicology in the late 19th century, linked to the 19th century European focus on nationalism. Comparative musicology emerged as a project of documenting the different musical features of diverse regions of the world. The field of musicology was established in 1885 by Austrian scholar Guido Adler, who conceived of historical musicology and comparative musicology as two separate branches, with historical musicology focused only on European classical music. Carl Stumpf, an early comparative musicologist, published one of the first musical ethnographies on an indigenous group in British Columbia in 1886. Comparative musicologists were primarily concerned with documenting the origins and evolution of musical practices. They often espoused social Darwinist notions and assumed that music in non-Western societies was simpler than music in Western Europe, which they considered the culmination of musical complexity. Comparative musicologists were also interested in the ways music was disseminated from one place to another. Folklorists of the early 20th century such as Cecil Sharp, who collected British folk ballads, and Francis Densmore, who collected songs of various indigenous groups, are also considered to be ethnomusicology's forebears. Another major concern of comparative musicology was the classification of instruments and musical systems in 1914. German scholars Kurt Sachs and Erich von Hornbüssel came up with a system to classify musical instruments that is still in use today. The system divides instruments into 4 groups, according to their vibrating material: aerophones, vibrations caused by air, as with a flute; chordophones, vibrating strings, as with a guitar; membranophones, vibrating animal skin, as with drums; and idiophones, vibrations caused by the body of the instrument itself, as with a rattle. In 1950, Dutch musicologist Jaap Kuntz coined the term ethnomusicology, combining two disciplines, musicology, the study of music, and ethnology, the comparative study of different cultures. Building on this new name, musicologist Charles Seeger, anthropologist Alan Merriam, and others established the Society for Ethnomusicology in 1955 and the journal Ethnomusicology in 1958. The first graduate programs in ethnomusicology were established in the 1960s at UCLA, the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign, and Indiana University. The name change signaled another shift in the field. Ethnomusicology moved away from studying the origins, evolution, and comparison of musical practices, and toward thinking of music as one of many human activities, like religion, language, and food. In short, the field became more anthropological. Alan Merriam's 1964 book, The Anthropology of Music, is a foundational text that reflected this shift. Music was no longer thought of as an object of study that could be captured fully from a recording or in written musical notation, but rather as a dynamic process affected by the larger society. Whereas many comparative musicologists did not play the music they analyzed or spend much time in the field, in the later 20th century extended periods of field work became a requirement for ethnomusicologists. In the late 20th century, there was also a move away from studying only traditional non-Western music that was considered to be uncontaminated by contact with the West. Mass-mediated, popular, and contemporary forms of music making rap, salsa, rock, Afro-pop have become important subjects of study, alongside the more well-researched traditions of Javanese gamelan, Hindustani classical music, and West African drumming. Ethnomusicologists have also turned their focus to more contemporary issues that intersect with music making, such as globalization, migration, technology, media, and social conflict. Ethnomusicology has made major inroads in colleges and universities, with dozens of graduate programs now established and ethnomusicologists on faculty at many major universities.